Welcome, guys. Sorry about that. Thought I'd do it from home. Just get out of the stadium, get home, and we can have a chat. Comment your thoughts on the game, on the year, everything club related, and we'll have a chat. Yeah, thanks, Beth. Got to end the year on a review, obviously, on a live review. And in the end, you look at the scoreboard, and it was good not to get blown off the park. It was good to kind of have a bit of hope and see some highlights and just cheer some good efforts from the boys and get amongst the crowd. It was looking pretty scary in that first half, the way Sydney were playing and getting it out to, I think it was close to 30 points or around that mark, 28 points, and it could have easily blown out into the 40, 50 point margin, which is exactly what Sydney wanted to get to that important second spot on the ladder. And I'm glad we didn't buckle, and in the end they finished third, so they really wanted second, but I'm really glad that we kind of fought it out. But it's a bit bittersweet, isn't it? Like, it's kind of, I don't know, you want to compliment the boys and say, well, we battled hard. Benny Long was unbelievable today and put in one of the best games I've seen him ever play. But then on the flip side, you kind of look at the season and what it could have been and where we were at, 8-3, and then to finish the season, I think 3-9 in the second half, around that mark, was really, really disappointing, to say the least, because we didn't have that many injuries. We played some pretty good teams in the second part of the year, but we kind of thought that based on our first 10 or so games that we really could have trusted the boys to at least get the 3 or 4 wins that we absolutely needed to secure finals, but we didn't. We finished, I think, 10th. I haven't even looked at the ladder, but that kind of, I guess, justifies where we are as a team. At this point in time, we're not at that top 8 level. When you look at the top 8 teams, you just see some consistent performers every week. You see some gun players, and they don't get blown off the park often. Like even Richmond have found that form late in the season, and they're blowing teams away and playing their brand of football and backing their brand. And I feel like our brand of football is actually quite dangerous. We just don't seem to trust it as much as some of the other teams going around. And Geelong's the benchmark. Sydney were flying 6 in a row, and it just shows a bit of effort, a bit of structure, and kicking 5 straight. That's a great sign to see. I really wanted Kingy to finish the year on a really good note. So to see him do that was a great effort. Steely, I thought, was good. There was some really, really good individual performers if you look at the stats, which I'll just get up now. You've got Hanbury, special mention, 30 disposals on his final game is amazing. And I mean, some people will say, maybe that's a worry, Jakey. Maybe why is the one player that's retiring after being injury-riddled our number one player in our final game? But fact is, he gave it his all. Seb Ross, 29. Ben Long, 27 with 17 marks. That is ridiculous. I think he kicked a goal as well. That's an absurd game from Ben Long. He really did go all out, and I don't know if he's contracted next year, but we absolutely need to get him done because he's that sort of heart and soul player that we need. But there were so many, mistakes. A lot of Sydney's goals were just errors, and I think that's the key difference between us and some of these top teams is, It's just that quality in possession. And it's not going for those crazy kicks in the middle of the ground. It's not going for those Hail Marys that you need to be a superstar to hit. It's the basic 15-meter kick across goal or down the middle, and we just turned it over. Or, perfect example is that handball through the middle to Seb Ross. Seb drops it. They go the other end and they kick a goal. That's the stuff that the top teams, you rarely see them fumble and you rarely see them turn it over. They only turn it over when they are under immense pressure, and that's a full credit to the other team. But today, I thought Sydney was good. I didn't think they were outstanding. Similar to when we played Brisbane, I thought that, Brisbane gave us opportunities to win the game, and even late in this game, I kind of thought, well, Sydney are giving us some opportunities. Because, clearance-wise, I think we dominated. The inside 50s were dead even, 51 apiece. We had more marks, we had more kicks, we had more disposals. More free kicks, more hit-outs. Clearances 35 to 31. Centre clearances 16 to 6. Yet I think centre clearance scores was about a goal apiece. So when you look at it like that, you think we're getting a lot of clearances out of the middle, but the top teams hurt you. And I think when the top teams are on top, they capitalise. Sydney had a good 20 or 30 minute period in the game. That was enough to go 5 goals up. We have that same period in a game. We'll kick 2 goals 2, or 1 goal 4, or 1 goal 5. And we did that. The first term, I thought we peppered. We started the better team. We were 1 goal 3, 1 goal 4 to their no score or whatever it was. It could have been 4 goals to 0 at one point in that first term, but we just didn't know how to capitalise on those opportunities. And we did that against Brisbane. That cost us. We did that against Sydney. That cost us. We've done it in many games this year, and inevitably we lose those games and we find ourselves in the position that we're in, which is 10th on the ladder and under a review, which I am really keen to keep. I'm going to keep a close eye on that to report on and give you guys the full info. And then whether that results in Lenny Hayes jumping on board, other coaches jumping on board, a lot of players leaving. I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot more outs than ins, but we'll wait and see. I think obviously with Hannahs and Ryder and Kent and Geary and these sort of players finishing up, not to mention delistings, we're going to have a lot of room in the salary cap. And you'd like to think that there's going to be some big fish around, whether that's Taranto, I'd hate to say it, but DeGoey. There's a lot of names that are going to be floated around. And, we need that depth. We need that support in any position we can. I think the backline, we need another tall. You look at today, and Josh Battle, although, battled really hard, no pun intended. He did make some big errors in the first 2 quarters of the game with his kicking, and that could have cost us a lot more than it did. And you think the top teams, again, they make you hurt. They really do, just put the foot down when you stuff up, and we got away with a few mistakes there. I think midfield, we obviously need some support for Steele and Crouch. Winhager will come through in the next couple of years, but we still need some A-grade talent through there. And that's where a lot of the top teams get us, through the guts. And then obviously forward of centre. I don't think we need too much in the forward line. I think it's more structure, and whether that's a new coach, getting Ruffy more involved. Obviously Ben McGlynn's finished up, and he's the sort of guy that's been taking care of the forwards and the mids. But whether Lenny Hayes will come in straight off the bat and go midfield, and then we can get someone else that can handle the forward line, I think would be great, because you see the massive difference in some of these games. You see Sydney, when they get the ball, their players are everywhere. They're spreading, they're 15-meter darts, they're running, they're overlapping. There's so much chemistry there going forward. They want to go forward. I feel like for us, it's a little bit of a burden. We kind of shit our pants. We're like, shit, do we have to go kick a goal? I don't want to. I just want to chip it around for the whole game. That's kind of the feeling I get from the boys, is there's not a lot of responsibility to kick a goal. And there was a good passage in the third term, I think it was. And we found ourselves just continually handballing to someone that was in a worse position. And I think Nasiah Wanganeen Malera took the shot, and it was never going in from that angle. And you just want someone to take the responsibility and put it on their shoulders and kick the goals. And that's the one thing you can't fault Max King on, is he does put it on himself. He takes on that responsibility. And although last week, he kicked 5 points, he took that responsibility on. He kept presenting, and today he did the exact same thing, and he's kicked 5 straight. So we know that Max King is not the problem. It is the structure with him in it. Obviously, some games he doesn't lead and he doesn't move, and we get frustrated, obviously. But it's more than that. It's the whole forward line structure. It is communication with the mids, and then it's communication with your fellow forwards and what space you're taking up. You go make a lead there, I go there, open up space for Kingy, go in long, one-on-one, game over. We don't play that way. We don't play with those sort of football smarts. We kind of rely on just eventually we'll kick a lot of goals in a short amount of time, and that's the job done. And we almost did that in this game. And we've done that in a lot of games. In a lot of our wins, it was not 4-quarter performance. It was a 10-minute spurt of 7 goals against Richmond, against Geelong, these sort of games. Fremantle as well in round 2. 3 or 4 of our 10 or 11 wins, it was 1 quarter of brilliance. And you can't do that against the top teams. So it's a cliche, I know, and we say it every year, but we really do need to hone in on being able to manage a game for 4 quarters. And it doesn't mean dominate and kick 7 goals a quarter. Geelong don't even do that. Geelong will have an 8-goal quarter, 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, and just play at their tempo and control the game even without kicking goals. They'll chip it around. They'll possess the ball. They'll just not give an opportunity to the opposition. Even if they don't take opportunities, they know when to lock it down. You look at those teams and you think, okay, we've got a fair way to go, but I don't think it's as big an improvement as we look like we need. I think it's like what Rats tends to say, we're not as good as we think we are, and we're not as bad as we think we are. And I think it will take a couple of tweaks. I'm hoping that with Paddy, with Hannahs, with Geary, all these players, although some of them are guns and were really important to us, mainly Paddy, that them finishing up will give a bit more responsibility to the Marshalls, to the Kings, to the youngsters in Winhager and Owens and Nasiah. And to Steele, Geary's finishing up, and although he wasn't captain this year, you'd like to think that him, Hannahs, and these sort of guys were leaders off the field as well. Now Steele needs to really go to that next level as a captain, and if he doesn't want to do that, I'm happy to have someone like Cal Wilkie as the new captain of the footy club. So Steele can just focus on his football, get back to being a gun midfielder, and not have to worry about that sort of responsibility. Because Wilkie's proven that he's vocal enough on field, he demands the best of his teammates. Proven, in himself that he plays a great game every week and hasn't missed a game since debut. So I don't know. I think if Steele's not ready to be captain, I'm not against Wilkie taking that on board. So for the game itself, it was kind of your typical Saints game. Bit of good, bit of bad, bit of ugly. But it was just good to see Windy play a good game. I thought Ben Long was outstanding. Hannahs, I thought Liner was actually pretty good. Sinks just kept doing what he needs to do, and I think he's definitely secured that best and fairest with his season, you'd like to think. Brad Hill only the 18 though. Mitch Owens was good. Zach Jones 14, but it felt like he got the ball a lot more. And then right at the bottom, I think Dean Kent came on pretty late. Didn't get himself a goal to finish up, but got the 4 touches. Hunter Clark went off, I think, in the second term or third term. And Marshall, surprisingly, only the 8 touches from 21 hitouts. I backed him in for 20-odd, but only the 8 for Rowe. So the game itself, not much to delve into there because it's kind of a dead rubber for us. It didn't really mean as much to us as it did to Sydney. But the season itself is no beating around the bush on this. It's a fail. It is an F for me. We wanted to make finals. We anticipated finals. We expected finals, and the board certainly expected that. Andrew Bassett called it out and said 2022 was the year. Why not us? Brett Ratton said it during the preseason. It was, really the end goal for us this year. And the fact that we didn't get it, it puts our coaches under more pressure, and that's all about the review. That's what the review will look into. But there were some positives. We got some good youngsters coming through. Winhager, Nasiah, Owens. I think Steele gets a proper season under his belt as captain, as sole captain. And then you got players like Max King getting another year under their belts. And although there were some games that Kingy may have cost us. We don't want to go into that, but he may have. He had some ups and downs. It's another year of development, and you look at the game today and you think, he's not our problem. He's going to be a gun. Makes it look easy at times, too easy. Left foot snaps, marks on the run, marks contested, roving the ball off a pack, running into an open goal, using his body well. He did that really well today, I thought. He's not our problem at all. It's just I think we just need to skew the list towards a bit more youth. So we'll get a good draft pick again. Whether players like Brad Hill and these sort of guys want to leave and go to North, we'll obviously get compensation there. We'll see what happens in the trade window, but if that happens, that opens us up to maybe second rounders, maybe a first rounder for some other players. There's going to be opportunities there for us to go higher up in the draft and be aggressive. And maybe with Academy, we can find a few other players as well. So that's kind of my thoughts, Sainers. I'm not happy about the year at all, and I know you aren't. So let's get stuck into some of your comments. If you've got some thoughts on the season and where you think we can improve, go for it, and we'll talk about it. In the comments. Let's go to the top. Kenny says, we need an off-field clean-out. Leflin and Rath can go. I kind of agree with you, mate, but unfortunately they're the ones running the external review. I know they say external, but it's run by two blokes internal, so it doesn't make sense to be an external review. So they're not going anyway, unfortunately. Beth says, great bullet passes. Yeah, his kicking was great tonight, I have to say. He opened the game up really well for us, opened the fat side up, and his kicking was a definite highlight for me. Jax is happy to see Max King make a point that he's a threat in the forward line. Absolutely, 5 goals straight. I think he had, what did he have? The 11 disposals, 12 disposals, 7 marks, and yeah, the 5 goals straight. So that's exactly what you want from Max King. Great performance. Peter says, Jakey, fantastic dedication you have. Thanks very much, Peter. And thanks for everyone for watching and everyone for sending stars and all that stuff. I really do appreciate it. Marks is a very neutral plan because the skill level is modest, so you can't expect to play with speed. Good call. Hopefully in the off-season we can get some more skill. That's got to be a focus. You'd think most clubs would be honing in on skill, but we really do need it. That'll definitely help kind of evolve our game plan into something a bit more aggressive. If we're serious about keeping Bytel, I'd focus on his development and he'll no doubt slot into our 22. That's from Brandon. Absolutely. Really disappointing that we didn't get to see him today, but I really do hope that we can keep him around for another season or two and give him the minutes that he deserves. Peter says, I can't believe Long got reported. He was fantastic today. You knew that was going to happen with that bump. He'll probably get a week. It's going to be bullshit. Every other player gets off in that situation, but Benny Long doesn't. But he should get the 3 votes. That's how good he was today, to be honest. What else we got? Campbell was pretty good today as well. This is from Peter, and it makes me wonder why we haven't played him earlier. Good question. I've called for him to play for multiple weeks. We didn't choose to until today. I really hope we keep him on. I don't know if he's contracted, but I hope that he does as well. Chris says, with the podcast, will you keep recording over the finals and the off-season? We're going to definitely keep it going for another couple of weeks at the very least. We're going to plan... hit the mic. We're going to plan during the week next week for what we do for the remainder of the year. And if you guys have any ideas on what you want us to talk about, if you want us to get anyone on, any guests, hit me up on Instagram, Saints TV Pod, and we'll try and plan that into the schedule for the next couple of months. Jack Perry, my mate that I went to the footy with today. Sydney was just too strong today. I know that he's trying to stir me there, but I'm not going to give in. He was clapping for the Saints as much as he was for Sydney. He's got a soft spot for the Saints, does Jack. So I'm not going to go into that, mate, but nice try. Kenny says Jack Hayes will be huge for us next year. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see Jack Hayes back. We keep forgetting that we have him on the list because he was out from round 5 onwards or something. But he's a cult figure and he's going to make our forward line and our rucks that much more dangerous. So I can't wait to get Jack Hayes back running out for the red, white and black. Best is seeing Paddy carried off was very sad, but so much love there. Absolutely. Paddy was, only 36 games or so, 38 games for the red, white and black. But like I said in my post yesterday, it feels like he's been around for 10 years at the club and absolutely love the bloke. And hopefully he sticks around as a ruck coach or just in some capacity because he just brings so much I don't know, just this vibe to the club that I think we really need, and I feel like he's one of the rare players that brings that. So hopefully Paddy can stick around in some capacity. What else we got? Jordan says he also kicked it out on the full a few times. Max needs to work on it still. Yeah, I mean, you can pick on everything if you really want, but he did kick 5 straight. So he kicked 30 points of our 74. It's nearly half our score. So I don't think we need to pick on him too much. Saints should always play late Sundays. That way the weekend is better. That's from Adrian. Adrian, yeah, you're always full of optimism, aren't you, mate? Can we get Ben King for our defence? That's from Adrian as well. Look, I don't think Ben King's going to be happening anytime soon, but weirder things have happened. It's absolutely something that the club would be looking at. I know that it'd be silly for us not to, but I think that we've got bigger problems in the midfield and down back probably, and just depth-wise, just to get some players in that can really add to the 22 and the 4. I mean, you need more than 22. You need 40-odd solid, AFL players to win a flag. And right now, you'd say we probably have maybe 14 or so if you really did list, consistent performers. Maybe less. You need more than that. You need 20 plus, 30 plus to really be a gun team. Especially when it comes to injuries, you need to have that flexibility. So we've got a bit of work to do there. Jack says, time for Sinclair to go midfield full-time. Absolutely. Jack Sinclair is a superstar. And I can't wait to watch the Trevor Barker medal in a couple of weeks, because no doubt he will absolutely cakewalk that tally and win the best and fairest. So a great season from Jack Sinclair. Not a great season for our boys, but I'll wrap it up there saying I really do appreciate all of you tuning in and your comments and your support throughout the year. We're going to keep the content going throughout the year, so if you want to stay updated, go to YouTube, Saints TV Pod, and subscribe there. And on Instagram, at Saints TV Pod. Follow us on Instagram because that's where the majority of the content will be. Facebook will always tick over, but YouTube for all my videos, exclusive to YouTube. So go on there, at Saints TV Pod. Hit subscribe and you'll be updated on all videos in the off-season. I think we'll get some fan cams, podcast videos, and obviously all of my off-season trade videos, Saints TV Weekly. There's going to be a lot of content to come out in the off-season. I'll keep you guys fully updated. But I do want to just stress again, I really do appreciate all of your support, supporting Facebook, Instagram, the podcast, coming up at games, taking photos, having a chat, sharing your Saints stories. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to do it again in 2023. But obviously 2022 is still going to happen, and a lot of water to go under the bridge down at Moorabbin for the remainder of the year. So I can't wait to get stuck into that. But I'll leave it there, Saints. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever is left of it. Sunday night, the season is done. We finished 10th, I think, on the AFL ladder officially, with 11 wins and I think 11 losses. So that's exactly in the sweet spot of where we are at the moment, in a bit of no man's land. A lot of work to be done in the off-season, so let's hope that the club do right by the fans and take this review seriously and get it all done properly. And then we can really prepare for a big 2023. So thanks very much, Saints. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you during the week for some more Saints TV content. Thanks, Saints, and go you mighty Saints. Thanks for a great year, guys. See ya.